Well, hello, welcome to I Love Gay today. And this is another part of our travel influencer series that's also part of a panel. And it's also sponsored in part by IGLTA, the International Gay and Lesbian Travel Association. And I'm excited. I'm here with Scott and Davide from Gay Puglia podcasts and blog
The
and
big gay podcast from Puglia.
perfect. I love it. And so
Hi guys.
I I love your backdrop. Where are you right now?
So we're in Polignano a Mare, which is one of the most famous places in Puglia, our region. And it's because of this iconic backdrop you see. Super famous. Somebody took a photo of this many years ago, and it really introduced Puglia to the world. And it became a very iconic backdrop for many guidebooks. And in fact, on many guidebooks for Puglia, you'll see Polignano a Mare, this backdrop, Lama Monachile. Is that how you pronounce it properly?
Monachile.
Lama Monachile.
Man, I love it. That's perfect. And but as we're talking about what you all do, how did you get started in all this? Because I mean, a lot of what you do, I think, is not only travel to the Puglia region for the LGBT traveler, but also you talk a lot about local life and stuff. So it seems like your heart is really in Puglia.
Sure. Well, when I first came to Puglia, which was around 4 years ago, I had two projects in mind for the LGBT community. One was for Italians, and the other one was for foreigners, for people who are coming to Puglia. And that project was the podcast. And the idea was to inform visitors coming to Puglia and to Italy generally about LGBT life here in Italy. And that's because I think a lot of people come here to Puglia, where there are some very gay destinations. And for Italians particularly, gay Italians have been coming to Puglia for many years. And I think visitors from other countries who come here tend to think that it's actually a very gay-friendly place. And whilst the destinations are very gay-friendly, Italy wasn't actually very gay-friendly. And for example, in terms of rights, we have no equal marriage. We do have civil partnerships, civil unions, but there are no protections for LGBT people in the workplace. There were none. That is changing. There were no anti-discrimination laws. And so I thought that one of the things that might be useful just to educate people who come here was to just inform them a little bit more about how not how backward, but that we were a little bit backward when you consider other European countries, but particularly not having equal marriage. So that was the idea, and we started doing the podcast just to talk about LGBT life and culture here in Puglia. And to supplement that, we started the website and some other things, which maybe David will talk about later. But that was the idea, that was the intention, and it kind of grew from that.
Yeah, I love that. But even with the platforms, I know you have the podcast. Where do they find the podcast at?
Wherever you get your podcasts from, usual podcast providers, but we're on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else. Yeah. We're fairly irregular in terms of when we post. We tend to have a lot more podcasts over the summer period when we're traveling around a lot more. And then it just gets quieter, but it depends on when we go and where we go and the mood we're in.
What are your favorite platforms that I know we discovered each other on Twitter, but I know you're elsewhere as well.
Instagram, David, you want to talk a bit about Instagram?
Instagram is our best platform, but we also have Twitter and our website, of course. So
yeah, Instagram is a funny one because how we started in Instagram is quite different from...
We started just to take picture of spots of church seasides, and we got few likes. But when we started to make picture to guys, models, to me sometimes
hot Italians,
yes,
hot Italians and parts of body things, we got lot of more likes.
Yeah, well, Puglia is a summer place. In fact, one of the things that I joke about is that we only have 2 seasons here in Puglia, estate e non estate. So that's summer and not summer. So it's a very summer place. You know, we have sun and hot weather and beach destinations all around, and for most of the year. So it is a very beach culture and beach life here. So of course, because we visit lots of beaches, it just so happened that we were taking pictures of lots of people on the beach. Yeah. And that's what we found, as David said, when we were posting pictures of the delicious, the wonderful food here, we were getting very few likes and not so much engagement. But as soon as we started posting on Instagram those pictures of Italian guys on the beach, then suddenly we became a whole lot more popular.
Yeah, yeah.
At Gay Puglia Podcast on Instagram.
Who knows why, but
David features a lot on the Instagram. I kind of hide because I kind of think as the originator, then perhaps, and the non-Italian, then perhaps it's not really my place to be. That's my excuse. As the non-Italian, I'm not there, but David's there quite a lot.
So how are you guys adapting now that the pandemic, quarantine, and everything, as far as how everything's changed this year?
And still changing, because in fact, if we were going to be doing this tomorrow, we couldn't do it here.
Yeah.
So we have a new lockdown coming into force from tomorrow. That was literally announced how many hours ago, David?
Yep, in 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago.
Yeah.
2 hours ago, it was announced that, I mean, we heard
from
rumors.
From tomorrow, it will be everything different. It depends from the region we are. So Puglia is on the medium risk, and so we can't move from our city. And
so we're stuck to our local comune, the little towns and villages where we are resident. So if we were doing this tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to come here. Yeah. So it was a good day to do it. The last day of our liberty before we go into a soft lockdown again.
So today until tonight, we'll do all the things we can do, because
all the things we hope we can do.
I understand. You know, I'm sure you may be aware, a lot of us in the gay travel world almost all came to Italy in May for the IGLTA convention, which was supposed to be in Milan. But of course,
and I know about this because the other project that I mentioned was I started a gay choir here in Bari, Riccitoni, and we were with the other Italian choirs going to be performing at that festival. The Milan choir were organizing us to perform, and we were all set to go there in May as well. But of course, that was cancelled.
Yeah. Well, I know IGLTA is making plans to come back to Italy because the executive director, he's Italian of origin, and his passion and heart is in Italy. So he wants us to come back.
Matt, do you know what I would say? Why go to Milan when you come here to Puglia?
Very good point. And plus, you're going to have to all you have to do is come up with those wonderful opportunities for us that if we're going to fly all the way to Italy, is that we want to see more. And so either before or after, we should come out there and hang out with you guys.
Sure. You'd be very welcome.
I'd love that. I know I personally would love that. I love Puglia. I've been there and I look forward to returning again.
Good. Have you ever visited my city, Ostuni? No. It's really famous all over the world.
Not yet. I have not also been to Lecce, the town on the hills. I always wanted to go, but that was a little further from our road trip when we were there last time.
Matt, David has a story about Ostuni, and you and other viewers can judge whether this is true or not. But David, you want to tell the story that you first told me about Ostuni?
Yeah. So when we first met, I told him because somebody else told me that Ostuni gave the name to Houston, to the American Houston city. But I discovered later, thanks to Scott, that it's not actually true.
Non è vero. However, everyone in Ostuni were very honored and proud because they thought that their city had given the name to Houston in Texas.
Yes, I did not know that. I do know that when I was driving and I went to Toronto, I thought to myself, I wonder if that influenced the city in Canada. But it turns out that also had nothing to do with Toronto.
Toronto, yes, it's too.
That's another one for you, David, for next year. You can tell people that Taranto gave its name to Toronto.
Thanks for the idea.
Let them run with it. You know, this is wonderful. I really appreciate you guys being able to take a few moments of your time and not only share with our audience, but also participate in our travel panel that we're putting together.
No, we're very happy to. And always happy to show off our region.
And we love to see it. So again, I look forward to the next time we're all in Italy. And in the meantime, stay safe and have a wonderful week.
Sure.
All right.
Take
okay,
care.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, guys.
It feels good, so good.